Okay, so there's two Nikon cameras here. One is my older Nikon D5300, and the other one is my newer Nikon D5600. Now, the battery detection system on the D5600 is set up to detect clone or counterfeit batteries a lot better than on my older Nikon D5300. Now, as a test, what I'll do is I'll stick in one of these batteries here that have the Nikon logo on it, and this is an EN-EL14A battery, and you have the hologram mark on it. It looks authentic. And I stick it into the camera. And I turn on the camera. You will notice that that the camera powers on without any issues. Okay, so I'll turn it off and remove this battery. And using the same battery, I will plug it into my Nikon D5600. And I've removed the battery guard here because I use a battery grip. So I just didn't want to put it in, but I'll be removing the clip on this one as well to demo it. Now, using this battery, I stick it in, I turn it on, and you get a message stating that the battery cannot be used. Now, there's a way to override this, which I'll show. And to do that, basically, it involves using a battery grip. Now, I have two battery grips. I have this one, which is side-loaded, and I have this one, which is back-loaded. For the purposes of this demo, I'll just use this one in my Nikon D5600 because it's just a lot easier to use, but both of it will work similarly. So I just lock the battery grip on, and I use the clone or the counterfeit battery. I stick it into the battery grip, and I try to turn on the camera. You'll notice that the same error message appears. Okay. Now, to bypass this, what I do is I remove the counterfeit battery, and I have the authentic Nikon battery that came with the camera. I use this. It has the standard EN-EL14, etc. hologram logo on the bottom, and it's virtually almost indistinguishable from the counterfeit. Now, I stick this into the battery grip, and I turn it on, and you notice that it works. Okay, now to bypass that message about it not being an authentic battery, what I can do is, now that the camera detected this authentic battery, I take this counterfeit battery, I stick it into the second slot. Sticking it into the second slot, if I power on the camera, it still works. Power off the camera, and I remove, remember, the good battery is on the right hand side, the counterfeit is on the left. I remove the good battery. I can power it on, and it still recognizes that it can turn on even though the good battery is no longer there. Now I turn it off. I can take another counterfeit battery, because I have two of them, and stick it in here. Turn it on, and it would still work. Now, as long as I don't remove both batteries from the system, the camera will work properly. I can turn this off, remove this one, which is counterfeit, turn it on, and it will still work. Turn it off, remove this. So now both counterfeit batteries are in my hand. Now I try to stick it back in, and the message appears again. This battery cannot be used. Okay, so turn it off and put in the authentic battery back in. And I have the two counterfeit batteries. You can notice that it's working right now. So I'll power it off just to be safe. Stick in one counterfeit. Remove the authentic, turn it on, you'll see the power's on. Remove the authentic one. I'll put this on the table. I'll put in the counterfeit. And I can turn it on and it works. Now, with the Nikon D5300, I have a battery grip. I'll show you how to insert the battery grip. Basically, it involves taking this, and it's these exact same instructions for the 5600. So I hold the battery cover at a 45-degree angle, and I just pop it up. Okay, you have to do it somewhat carefully as to not damage the two ends of it. And as I've mentioned, I didn't damage it, but if you pull it too hard, you might break it off and it would never insert back. Now, these battery grips, they include a space here where you can insert it so you won't lose it. Now I can just take this and plug it in here, lock it in place. Oops, I turn it the right way. Oops. Sorry, you have to see what side it is. Okay, yeah, it locks firmly into place. Now I can take this battery grip, and actually these battery grips will work in either camera. It's just that with this one, it's impossible to remove one of the batteries once it's inserted. So you cannot keep the good battery in while you do the same test that I was doing. So as both counterfeit batteries are in this camera here, and this is my D5600. My D5300 right here. I'll just put these batteries here, and these, as I mentioned, are the counterfeit ones. Just insert it here. And because the detection system in the Nikon D5300 is not as good, it will work with it. Okay. That's basically it.